It's time for you to strap in, hold on to your chair. We've had a little bit of a chat off camera about who might challenge for the Premier League title next season. And let's just say, things have been said that I hope are going to get said in these next 10, 12, 13, 14 minutes. So grab some popcorn and a drink. Let's start with Chelsea. Are Chelsea going to challenge for the title next season? Kweku Afari.
I said it back in November. I said that Chelsea are not in the title race this season, despite opposition fans trying to thrust us into that position. And despite the fact that our manager said, no, we're not in the title race. It proved that we weren't in the title race. I said at that point, though, when we were second in the league, next season I expect us to be in the title race. And I'm going to stick by that. Chelsea will be in the title, should be in the title race next season. Does that mean Chelsea win it? No, it's a race. People win and people lose races. But I expect Chelsea to be in the title race. And what that means, because I think people have lost an idea of what a title race means, it means by March, there's still a conversation about Chelsea being in the title race. Last year, we had that conversation in November. Absolutely ridiculous. After 9 games played, Chelsea in the title race. No. By March, Chelsea should still be in the conversation of, can they win the Premier League? Will they win it? Won't they win it? We'll be in that conversation. Okay. And people think it's far-fetched, right?
I do think it's far-fetched.
You think it's far-fetched. I watched Arsenal, an Arsenal team that were worse than this Chelsea team, finish 5th. We all watched the All or Nothing documentary. We all saw Arteta bring speakers to the training ground. And the very next season, they finished 2nd. They got to 50 points after 19 games, on track to get 100 points. Obviously, the World Cup happens during that season. They come back and they're not the same team. Gabriel Jesus gets injured. Whatever happens, happens. But I saw an Arsenal team with Granit Xhaka, who a year prior was getting booed off by his own fans, central to that team, challenge for the title. So I think that Chelsea going from 4th to challenging for the title is not far-fetched, especially when we're going to a Premier League season where it's the most open we've had in years.
Okay, so you've got Champions League football, first of all.
Cool.
And then the real thing that I want to discuss is, when we talk about title challenges, we're immediately setting the bar as Liverpool, Man City, and now obviously Arsenal in there. Let's use Arsenal as the barometer because they finished 2nd this season. How many of Chelsea's team get into Arsenal's team?
And you can cut me in the comments for this if you want. I put Reece James in there. You can tell me he doesn't stay fit. A fit Reece James gets into Arsenal starting 11. Does he not?
But what is a fit Reece James? When was the last? We're talking about a 38-game season. Who in your
Reece James for the last last half of the season's been fit.
In how many years?
Okay, but you're asking me, does he get into Arsenal's at combined 11? You asking me the question? Reece James gets in there.
I disagree.
Kukurea, I really like Miles Lewis-Skelly. Probably more than anyone on this desk. I pick
It's an assumption.
I pick Cucurella over Miles Lewis-Skelly. People want to look at the first 18 months of Chelsea. The last 18 months, people want to deny it. People might not want to put him in team this season. Cucurella's been one of the best left backs, if not the best left back in the league. I put Cucurella in there. Right. I put Moises Caicedo in there. I don't want to have a conversation about it because he goes in there. And Cole Palmer goes in there. Chelsea are close at the time of recording to sign Liam Delap. I think Liam Delap starts up top for Arsenal. Again, you can debate me. I had Kai Havertz on my football team. I saw him score a goal in the Champions League final. I know who I'd rather lead the line for Chelsea. That's Liam Delap. So I've given you 5 players to get into there.
All right, so on this basis, he's saying Chelsea have the best left back in the league. Caicedo you regard as one of the best midfielders in the league, am I right?
I think we all do,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Palmer's one of the best midfielders in the league. Reece James, one of the best right backs in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Liam Delap is getting into Arsenal's team, and so therefore is one of the best strikers in the league.
I think that's an indictment on the striker market. Liam Delap is one of the best.
I would say
around.
Then so is the left back market.
Okay.
But anyway,
okay.
So he's just said that, right? Would you agree that is true? Because if that is true, how have Chelsea finished in the position they have right now, so far behind the league race, while playing a Conference League and rotating every week?
The only thing that Kweku said that I disagree with is Reece James. I think if you can't stay fit and you haven't been able to your whole career, I just can't back you against anyone else. I think everyone else gets in there. I think Liam Delap gets in every single Premier League team apart from Manchester City's. Moises Caicedo, Cucurella, as much as people might be annoyed by him, people might not like his personality, people might not like his character, he has been the best left back in the league this season. Whether there's a dearth of left backs is completely irrelevant. That is a fact. And you said that they finished quite far behind. In November, December, they were playing very, very well. They were one game away from being top of the league, and they finished. And is this not a successful season?
I've seen Swansea second in the Premier League in November.
Is this not a successful season? Winning a trophy.
He said not successful. Were you a Chelsea fan?
Winning a trophy and finishing in the Champions League.
That was the remit, right? And not but debate, not even that, right? This is the youngest team in Premier League history. Not just the youngest team over the last 10 years, 15 years. The youngest team in Premier League history, and finished above a Newcastle team who were all waxing lyrical about saying the striker's worth 150 million. We don't have a striker. We don't have a striker.
Yeah,
and we finished fourth in the league.
Okay,
I'm going to bring one
I
in.
cannot believe we've wasted 5 minutes on this debate. Why would Chelsea not be in a title race next year? They have loads of money. They have an unbelievable wealth of talent. They've got loads of players. They've got a manager who's implemented his style, and they've just come
manager
off.
who
It,
he doesn't
and
want,
they've
by
just
the
come
way.
off. And they've just come off a very successful season.
Right, so a few things to just add there. You don't think Enzo should be Chelsea's manager, first of all. So the thing that you're saying...
No. I do now. I do now. Bro, no, because...
One game changed it all.
Yeah, 100%.
A game you didn't care about and a trophy you didn't care about.
No. The top four. I said the remit at the beginning of the season, right, is to win the Conference League. That's a byproduct. I don't care about that. Tuck that away, we won it all. I don't care. Shameless even bragging about it. The remit was to finish in the top four. Do you know what Chelsea did? When we all sat on these shows, we looked at the run and go, oh, Chelsea have got Liverpool, Chelsea have got Newcastle, Chelsea got Forest, Chelsea got Man United. What did Chelsea do? Win 5 out of the 6 games. And at the beginning of the season, what did Chelsea do? We were putting 6 past Wolves, putting 4 past Brighton, putting 5 past Southampton, putting 4 past Spurs. Great entertainers, right? And in the back end of the season, we won all those games, apart from against you lot, where we won by 2 goals, by 1 goal. So we've shown that we can do it in different ways. We've shown that we can do it in different ways with an incomplete squad with clear holes in it, without a goalkeeper and without a striker, and we finished 4th. Go and get a goalkeeper, go and get a striker. I think we are in the shout.
And 2 centre-backs.
And two centre-backs.
1 centre-back. Levi Cole plays next to the A side. Wait, guys, tell me down in the comments. Am I crazy for this?
You're about to go more crazy because the next thing we're going to talk about is Newcastle as title contenders. I'm going to let you save what you're going to say because you're getting cooked in the comments already. Kim, are they in a realistic title race next season?
No chance. They've got Champions League football, and I just don't think that their squad is deep enough whatsoever. It's quite nice to think of Newcastle being in a title race. They've got Isak. Whether he stays or goes, we don't know yet. He is probably the best striker in the Premier League at the moment, and all of their players who are not at that level this season have performed way beyond their means. I look at the likes of Jacob Murphy. I can't believe the output that he's put in. Same with players like Dan Burn. Tino Livramento, apparently City want him. I don't think he's of that highest level, and Eddie Howe's got them playing unbelievably well. But I think they're going to have Champions League football. They're going to be stretched. We don't know how much money they're going to spend. I don't think they've got a particularly deep squad. I can't see them playing in Champions League and challenging for the title.
Come on, Kweku.
Yeah, I think that I can't sit here and say that Chelsea are going to challenge for the title next year and then completely rule out Newcastle, who, when they took on big teams, they showed them their backside. They showed the big team their backside on multiple occasions this year. When they were up against the biggest teams in the country, they turned up and showed out. And so I look at this Newcastle team who, like you mentioned, have got the best striker in the league. Again, all the flowers going to Gravenberch. Congratulations, you had a good start to the season. I think Tonali's been just as good. I think Tonali's been absolutely incredible as a number 6. Sven Botman can't stay fit and the goalkeeper's not good enough. What they need to do is go and bring in the right winger because, like you mentioned, Jacob Murphy's got a lot of assists this season, but he's playing way above his level. And Buemo's linked with them. If you have a front line of Gordon and Buemo and Isak, that's pretty good, right? It's one of the best in the league. You look at the midfield of Guimaraes, who's amazing, Tonali, who's amazing, and maybe go and get a more depth centre midfielder. But I really, really like what they've got in Joe Linton. And then the back 4, like you mentioned, Livramento linked with City. He's a very good right back. Functional, reminds me of Aspilicueta. Not necessarily the best going forward, but defensively, one of the best in the league. Lewis Hall, weak Premier League when it comes to left backs, one of the best left backs in the league. Go and fill those holes and go and plug those gaps. And now you can spend money because last year you couldn't. Bear in mind, last year they didn't bring in anybody. They brought in Asula and they brought in Lloyd Kelly. Yeah. And that was it. This summer they can go big. And so if they do, they'll be in the title race. Why not?
I mean, if we're putting all these guys in the title race, we're effectively going to have 5 teams in the title race.
I think that's what it will be.
At that point, I don't think it's a title race. Like, the team 5th need to be within 9 points to the team top. And that's not going to happen. I think I like Newcastle, I like what Eddie Howe's done, but I think he's suffering and will suffer from a similar problem that Arteta's having now. Getting to a title is just, this jump is too enormous for managers that don't have the tactical versatility. And I think he's a top manager, but I don't think he's got the tactical versatility that other managers do. Go on.
I disagree with that. I think we've seen Newcastle over the last 6 or 7 games, or last 5 or 6 games, switch to a back 3. And seamlessly, without even complaining about it. We hear about Amrin, I need my own players to do this. I need my own players to do that. Eddie Howe quietly, under the radar, over the last 5 or 6 games, have gone, okay, cool, this is what I've got at my disposal. Here's a back 3, here's a back 5. I'm going to win games anyway.
The thing I'd say about the last 5, 6 games, because you've used the same debate for Chelsea, is how many teams have dialed out in the last 5, 6 games? There's that to factor in. Liverpool have dialed out, United have dialed out, Spurs have dialed out, the bottom 3 have dialed out, Bournemouth have dialed out, Brighton have dialed out. Basically, I'd say about 12 of the teams have dialed out. The only teams that are really involved was Forest.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get on it. Villa.
You have to beat what's in front of you.
Yeah,
You can't make
but
that
I'm saying
argument.
you can't then factor in the last 5 or 6 games when Newcastle in the first half of the season weren't at it. Middle period they were decent, and the end they've been decent. That doesn't create a title challenging team. And on top of that, how many centre backs are out there?
Yeah,
so
but
you need a centre back. They need 2 centre backs.
Before I let Kim go, like, we laud City for how good they are at the back end of the season. When they're playing these teams are also checked out. We don't say, oh, that title doesn't really matter though, because the teams you play against were checked out. When City beat Brighton on the final day of the season, when Brighton didn't really have anything to play for, we're not saying, oh, that turnaround doesn't mean anything. Or when you played against Villa and turned it around, oh, they weren't playing for anything, it doesn't matter. Yeah, teams are going to be on the beach. That's the nature of football. But your running is where you really secure your position in the league. And Liverpool would have had 2, maybe 3 more league titles if you were in the running against these checked out teams were better than City. You weren't. And City were. I don't think we discount that.
Disagree. We need to move on to other title contenders. Arsenal, your favourite team.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I've had enough of that this year.
They've obviously got a lot of issues going on, and they've had a lot of hamstring problems this season that people are looking into. New sporting director as well, who's apparently well known for spending big on forwards. Everyone's talking about a number 9. Liam Delap's obviously going to Chelsea. Isak, we're still unsure about what's happening with him. Arsenal heavily linked to Sesko. Liverpool linked to Julian Alvarez. What do Arsenal need to do to become the official? Because I think for Arsenal are probably beyond challengers now, right? Like now their next stop is title.
Has to be. Yeah, it has to be. But they need a striker. They can't keep on playing with a false 9. They can't keep on playing in the way that they've been playing. It seems like Arteta's almost found the solution to every problem. Like the way that they played against Real Madrid in both legs, the tactical setup seemed different from what he did the year before. But they need a striker. They need someone to get them over the line. And I think, to be honest, I say it all the time, and like it's been in the comments for like the last 3 years of people just assuming that I hate Arsenal. The problem that they have is a mentality problem, and that is just a fact. Arteta has a mentality problem, which is why they can't get over the line. And they need to rectify that. And I think the way that you can rectify that is having players that you really trust to dig you out in those big moments. And those type of players are your goalkeeper, which they have, your centre-backs, which they have, and a striker, which they don't have. So they need to solve that problem.
I'm with you. I think Arsenal are a striker short, but I do think part of the issue Arsenal are going to have next season is this was probably the season to get after it when Liverpool have just sort of like gone through the motions this year. Liverpool should have been through transition and they've got away with it a little bit, but obviously still won the league, which is the important thing. But Arsenal had to go for it now. So I think even if they add a 9 now, I'm kind of going, I think City will be stronger. I think Liverpool will be stronger.
Everyone's going to be better.
And
this was
Chelsea
Arsenal's
contending
year.
and potentially Newcastle. So that's where I go like, now we're talking about 5 contenders. Last season we were talking about 2. It was City and...
I also think that they don't have the capacity to go all the way in the Premier League and the Champions League. And I think the fact that they got so close in the Champions League this year, I think it'll be interesting to see which one Arteta favours. Because I don't think that the squad is deep enough and I don't think they're going to spend enough money to get that deeper squad. And I think the fact that they got so close in the Champions League, maybe that's what he's going to go for instead of the Premier League.
All right, Liverpool. Fresh set of fullbacks, potential change of style. Trent, who's a player we've spoken about a lot. Leaving, Florian Wirtz potentially arriving. Slot's second season. I think you've spoken a lot about this is the season you want to see.
Yeah, 100%. But they're going about business the right way. My goodness. Like, and again, we all forgot the Caicedo. We were doing a show on the road when Liverpool and Chelsea were bidding.
It was start of this season.
No, start of last season.
Was
long
it?
Long time
Wow.
ago.
Go back and watch it. Start of last season.
Start of last season, we were going to all the Premier League grounds in the country on the bus, and the news was filtering through. Oh, Chelsea going to get Caicedo. Oh no, Liverpool going to get Caicedo. Eventually, he chose Chelsea. I don't know why I made the decision, but I'm very grateful. That money's still sitting there. Liverpool haven't gone and done any business, any significant business subsequent to that, and so this makes sense. They dealt with what they had and they won the league. And now you're looking to bring in a Florian Wirtz. Now you're looking to bring in a Kirkes. Now you're looking to bring in a Frimpong. My goodness, the rich get richer. This is a Liverpool team that were the best team in the country by a country mile this season. And they're bringing in 3 players that are going to directly improve their starting 11, which is what a lot of these teams on this list didn't do last summer. I don't think there's anybody that Arsenal, Newcastle, City, or Chelsea that brought in that significantly improved their starting 11. Liverpool doing that, and it's not even June yet by the time we're recording. So yeah, I think Liverpool going to next season as favourites based on those signings.
All right, well, I'm excited. I'm sure we're going to do loads more Liverpool chats, so I'm going to save my excitement until these signings are done, because I, like Kweku just mentioned, I've suffered many times from celebrating Zubimendi too early, from celebrating Lavia, from celebrating Caicedo, potentially celebrating Jude Bellingham, so we're not going to do that with Florian Wirtz just yet. Man City, the final team on our list, obviously KDB's leaving, but I mean, he didn't really contribute this season. Rodri will be back, which you've said many times has been a significant miss. Surely you will be in the title race.
No, I'm worried.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really worried. I think the way that Liverpool are carrying on just a week after the Premier League season has ended, and the way that City are doing business worries me. I think the transfer policy over the last 3 or 4 years, apart from Erling Haaland, has been very poor. And I understand there's an expectation of this is how much we want to pay. If people ask for over that, we're not going to do that. We're going to go for our second option. Kirkez, Frimpong and Florian Wirtz are the 3 players that Man City need, and the only reason we're not buying them is for financial reasons. That doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense for the club that has the most money in the world, or the second most money in the world, to not be going after these number 1 targets. And then I look at the names we're linked with: Livramento instead of Frimpong. Really? We want to be challenging for all 4 competitions. And we've lost out on Frimpong, who is not only homegrown, used to play for City, but has now chosen to go to Liverpool instead. And we're getting Intino Livramento, who's had an okay season. Florian Wirtz is the player that we need, because we've just lost the greatest midfielder in Premier League history. City have wanted Wirtz for 2 or 3 years. They've been monitoring him for years, and we're going to let him go to our title rivals. Doesn't make any sense. And the names that we're being linked with, I'm not particularly excited by. I think if they do the business, I heard Khaldoon today come out and say we've identified our strong, clear targets. If they do that business, City will be okay. But if they go down Pep Guardiola's line, which he's been saying the last couple of weeks, which is we're not going to bring that many people in, I don't want a big squad. If we have a big squad, we'll leave. We are going to struggle again.
I will say Tijani Reinders is a very, very good footballer. They've been heavily linked to Man City. But yeah, City need to do some business and fast.